Hi there, my name is Dan and this is a free extract from my larger InDesign course on my website, bringyourownlaptop.com. So what is the difference between InDesign and say Quark, Photoshop, Illustrator, PageMaker, FrameMaker? There's all sorts of other programs out there, and let's quickly talk about where they all sit. So in terms of InDesign, it has some direct competitors. One would be Microsoft Word, okay, which is it's more of an amateur program, okay? You're not going to get a design job with it, and it has quite a lot of limitations. You can do some nice stuff in Word, but really that's the kind of entry-level program, and then you move into InDesign. Now, other competitors to InDesign would be, the main one would be Quark, okay, Quarkxpress. Now, when I was doing my degree as a graphic designer, we all learned Quark, okay? Now, as soon as I kind of left my degree to get my first job, InDesign got launched, and I just, that all those tools that I started actually teaching Quark way back when, okay? And it slowly but surely died a death. I'm sure the people at Quark right now they're still making versions, and there are people still using it, but it's a very, very small percentage of work, okay? And pretty much any kind of new work is all done in InDesign. Some legacy files you've stumbled across occasionally are done in Quark, but yeah, we don't use Quark very much anymore. Well, I don't use it at all. I haven't used it for probably about 10 years, so it's a long time dead. Now, PageMaker it's made by Adobe as well, and you're probably never going to touch it unless you are, it's for really big things. Say I need to put together a scientific document about some sort of medical treatment medicine that we're making. Okay, I might open up PageMaker because it allows many people to work on one document and update it and track it. Okay, if I was going to build a nuclear reactor, I'd probably document how it's made and how it's being maintained via PageMaker. It's a big old program. Okay, so not a lot of people using that one. Okay, definitely not for like creative design. Okay, it's all about InDesign. Now, the other products that might go in hand, okay, with InDesign is the Photoshop and Illustrator. Generally, designers will know Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign all together. Now, where they separate out, Photoshop's a nice clear difference, okay? InDesign is a layout program, okay? You bring in images, bring in text, and you combine them in amazing designs, okay? Photoshop, you open up photographs and you manipulate them, make them better, change them, mess with them, okay, fix them up. And when you're finished with them, you bring in something like InDesign. If I was making a flyer, okay, it's a one-page flyer, and I start making it in Photoshop, I could probably get away with it and it would be fine, and I could make it work, but that would be using something, using Photoshop, what it's not meant to be used for. You can do basic stuff like that. But as soon as you have to have multiple pages, Photoshop just falls over, okay? It can't do multiple pages. You can't have master pages or headers and footers, and it doesn't deal with type very well because it's mainly a photo editing program. So that's where Photoshop gets used. Illustrator is the one that is reasonably close to InDesign. It can do a lot of the same things. Illustrator is mainly for people illustrating, okay? But what I use it for mainly in that kind of design field is more logo work and making icons. It's really kind of geared, all the tool structure is around doing those things. But if I had to do a one-page flyer, okay, it would look great in Illustrator or InDesign. It wouldn't really matter to me. I'd have both programs open, and whichever one's open, okay? I'm good at both of them, so it doesn't really matter. Where InDesign gets used, if I have to start doing things, say it's going to be a monthly newsletter or flyer, then there's some tools in InDesign that may help that flow for doing monthly stuff. Okay, the other thing for InDesign is multiple pages. Illustrator can do it. You can have what's called artboards, okay? But if you get past, if you got a really image heavy document and you start getting past 3, 4, 5 pages, you'll find Illustrator starts grinding to a halt. Okay, get 10 or 20 pages of images and text, and it's quite hard to use. Okay, start struggling as a program. Whereas InDesign, you can have a 400-page document and fly through it and start working. It's engineered to deal with those lots of pages. Okay, same thing with InDesign. You can do some basic Illustrator stuff in it. There's a pen tool, and you can build shapes, and you can make icons and import them. So you can do that in InDesign. There's a bit of a crossover between those two. But if you're going to separate them out, Illustrator is for doing things like branding, okay, and logos and illustrations, and InDesign is all about desktop publishing. Now, I hope that helps with some of the software and which ones you should be learning. If you're completely new to this, okay, you can start with InDesign, and probably the next step would be Photoshop. Okay, unless you want to start making your own infographics and those sorts of things, then you'll look at Illustrator. I've got courses on all of those, so if you are keen, go check out those ones as well. All right, that'll be it for the what and where does InDesign sit in the world of design. So, what did you think? Did you like it? Okay, if you did, please hit the like button and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. It really helps my business. Now, this is just a free video from my larger InDesign course. You can see the full version on bringyourownlaptop.com. On that site, there is a free cheat sheet you can download. Okay, print it off, stick it next to your computer, look awesome. The other thing is I have lots of other courses there. Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, After Effects, Premiere, Dreamweaver, lots of other ones. So go check that out on bringyourownlaptop.com. Bye.